Hey guys, I am super excited about this video because it is all about this brand new CoverGirl foundation. This is the True Blend Matte Made Foundation. Even though this is a drugstore foundation, I actually think I paid like, I want to say like $12 or $13 for it, so it wasn't like super cheap or anything, but you do get the regular 1 full fluid ounce, and I was really impressed because they had a lot more shades available than CoverGirl normally does. Now, I got the shade L30, which I know is going to be a little bit too dark for me, but they did not have shade L10, which is the one that I would have preferred to have gotten. But then after L10, which they didn't have, it was L15 and L20, both which had a cooler undertone or more neutral pinky undertone. And then L30, which is the one that I got, has a warmer undertone, but it is, like I said, a bit too dark. It does come with a pump, but that's actually pretty typical of a lot of CoverGirl foundations. Now, as usual, I'm going to be doing half of my face with a sponge and half of my face with a brush. I already have a little bit of brows on, and I also put a very thin coat of mascara on as well. Okay, so this one here is the one I'm trying out today, the CoverGirl Matte Foundation in L30. This next one here is the Tarte Peach Perfect Foundation in the shade Snow. This one here is Estee Lauder Double Wear in 1W1, and this is the new NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Gobi. Kind of has like a little bit of a warmer peachy undertone. It's not super yellow. So the reviews that I've seen of this have actually been really positive. Has that typical CoverGirl foundation smell, a little bit like chemicals. So it's looking like it has about medium coverage. It's blending pretty well. So right now I just have it on this side of my face. It looks really good. It seems to be setting down. The color, although I think it looks fine on camera, in person is a little bit dark and a little bit like peachy, slightly orange. I mean, it's okay. It's just a little bit off. I especially notice it like around my hairline. So I used a full pump for just the one side of my face with the sponge. And now I'm gonna go in with another pump on the other half of my face with a brush. I'm gonna be using this Crown round buffing brush. I think I probably got a tiny bit better coverage with the brush, but I mean, it pretty much looks the same in terms of application and finish. I'm just gonna see if I can build a little bit more on this side. It's okay with building. Like, I didn't notice a lot better coverage when I put another layer over it, but so it's definitely oxidized a little bit. I can see that my face is a little bit darker than it was when I first applied it, and even on the back of my hand you can probably see like where the foundation has dried versus where it hasn't. Other than the color being a little bit dark, I think it looks really good. It's pretty smoothing, like my pores on my nose look minimized. It's sitting well on places that I have a little bit more texture. It's definitely drying down, and it feels like a formula that really adheres to the skin. One of the claims on this is that it's transfer resistant, and it does feel like the kind of foundation that would be transfer resistant, so that's a good sign. I mean, I'm honestly really impressed with this. So if this wears well, I will definitely be on the hunt for the L10 shade. I'm sure somewhere in the city has it. So I mean, if this wears really well, I will definitely be on the hunt for the L10 shade. I think that would probably suit me a little bit more. So it is definitely totally dried down now, and I don't usually use a setting powder when I'm doing a wear test, so Obviously that's not going to change today, but I really feel like you definitely don't need one. So I'm going to be wearing this for the rest of the day, and I will check back in with you guys at the end of the night to see how it's held up on my oily skin. Hey guys, I have now been wearing this CoverGirl foundation for 7 hours, and I honestly have not looked in the mirror in a very long time. So, to be completely honest, it looks almost the same as when I applied it. This lasted really, really well. Wow. Definitely is not transferring on my hands when I'm touching it. I feel like the claim that it is pretty transfer proof is true. You know, it was like a more mattifying foundation for sure, but it didn't look heavy or like I had a powder on. And yeah, it stayed really well, and I'm not really that shiny, to be honest. Wow. I'm like super impressed. Like even like on my breakouts right here, like it never covered it 100% to begin with, but like I feel like it held on pretty good, like especially in comparison to a lot of other foundations. I would say that the only real downsides to this foundation are, one, it can sink into some creases. So you can see there's like a pretty obvious like wrinkle going on here. So it really sunk in and like dried in the crack of my smile lines. And even though it didn't really separate on my nose, like I can see like where my pores were at one point super minimized. It's almost like they're not anymore. Usually my forehead is a lot greasier than this, and like I'm literally like, my forehead is not oily like at all. And it honestly like looks fairly natural. Like I think mostly I can tell that I'm wearing foundation because of the color, like it's just like a little bit off. But other than the color and like the creasing, it almost doesn't look like I'm wearing anything. Like it was pretty natural. So I would 100% recommend picking up and just trying this foundation. I mean, if you're into something that is really long lasting, pretty comfortable in the skin, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but it basically feels like I'm not really wearing anything. And like medium coverage, like you don't need a lot of coverage because this definitely is not high coverage, then I think that you would like this. I feel like it almost wouldn't matter what skin type you have because it's not super drying, it's not super matte, but it did control oil and lasted a really long time. And like I said, they did have like a much better shade selection than they normally do. It's just they didn't have the right shade for me in stock. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you can subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my videos, and click the bell if you really don't want to miss any of my videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.